It's been 3 days and counting, and the flight fiasco of Indigo is still not solved. Thousands of passengers left stranded at airports across India. It had been building up for quite a while, and today it came to a head. And how? Over 1,000 flights which were cancelled by Indigo across the country. The result? That since morning we had people who were left in a state of complete confusion in the midst of mounting chaos. They had nothing to eat, nothing to drink, and more importantly, they had no information. Late evening, Indigo CEO issued a mere apology and said that full normalization is expected between December 10 and 15. Hence, this aviation crisis will continue tomorrow as well. In the meantime, what has happened is that the government stepped in and the DGCA actually rolled back on the new rules that had mandated a rest period for pilots, and that means that Indigo pretty much got what they wanted. They refused to adhere to the new rules that had been brought in by the aviation regulator simply by ensuring that things became so bad that there was complete chaos across the country at the airports. The question then is, even though now you have got an inquiry being instituted by the government, a report is expected in the next 15 days, but will they be able to pin down, hold accountable, and more importantly, penalize this airline, which has literally taken all of us, all its consumers, all its travelers for a ride? Sanjay Lazar, aviation expert and CEO of Avialaz Consultants, joins us along with Dilip Cherian, founder of Perfect Relations. Sanjay Lazar, it's almost as if today people in India were faced with the option of either you can stay safe or you can continue to fly. Because essentially, in rolling back the rules, what the government has done is slackened the safety regulations. If my pilots are not well rested, can I trust the safety?
Thank you for having me, Padmaja. In cricket terms, this is what I would refer to as match fixing. Because, it seems so strange. These rules came into force in 2024. Airlines asked for a year's deferral. They got it in 2025. They went and told the court, we need more time. So the DGCA said, we'll do phase 1 in July of 2025. We'll do phase 2, the remaining 7 or 10 odd clauses, in November. Every airline knew about this. Every airline recruited in time. Indigo filed for 1,000, almost 1,000 extra flights in the winter schedule. That is the November to March segment. And yet, between November and December, we didn't see alarm bells. But suddenly, there were alarm bells. And today, of course, we've seen almost 2,000 flights being cancelled on the first 2 days. The DGCA itself has stated that. Now we see that the DGCA has rolled back the car, and the minister has gone on record in the evening to say, I'm staying all orders of the DGCA, which means literally we don't know what car we are following. So this is a hugely difficult problem. The DGCA car, civil aviation regulation on flight and duty time limitations are meant to align India with global regulations. Let's be clear, this is not some kind of luxury gift you're giving pilots, or this is to do with passenger safety, aviation safety. If it's good for America, it's good for Europe, it should be good for India.
Absolutely. And if the other airlines could do it, I want to focus on Indigo. If the other airlines could actually comply with the rules, why didn't Indigo do it? This was basically planned blackmail, Dilip Cherian, and Indigo got away with it. Shouldn't they be penalized? I'm just going to ask you bluntly, shouldn't Indigo Airlines be penalized for the hell that they've put people through?
There are two reasons why Indigo should be penalized. One, they clearly had enough time and they should have done planning better. There's no point just blaming the CEO. There's a full board which is responsible for making sure that the airline complies to government regulations which are well in advance of these deadlines. That's one. The second thing is that they seem to have lost all sense of passenger responsibility. They seem to want to believe that just worrying about their share price or worrying about their profits is all that's necessary. This is the result of a situation where you've willingly allowed a duopoly. Akasa, a much smaller airline, has done a terrific job in terms of planning for pilots in the manner that it should be. And I don't think that India has a manpower or a training shortage as far as pilots is concerned. We should be churning them out and hiring them at much larger numbers. If you are an airline which flies 2,200 flights a day, you jolly well do that planning and recognize that passengers are your first priority. Their safety first and their ability to rely on the schedule that you put out.
And here is the irony, Sanjay Lezar, and I'm urging all of our viewers also, if you've had an experience, and why I'm saying this is because at around 2 in the afternoon, you had a statement being put out, 2:18 p.m., a statement was put out by Indigo Airlines where they said that we are going to give full waiver on all cancellations. We will ensure full refunds. We are going to book you into hotels across cities. We are going to give you surface transport. We will give you food. And we literally, beginning 2 p.m. onwards, as late as 6 p.m., had viewers calling in and saying, I am still standing at Hyderabad airport. I am still standing at Bengaluru airport. Nobody has given me any hotel room. Nobody has even given me any information, leave alone giving me food and water and hotel rooms. So even today, Indigo did not do what it was promising online, on camera, on TV, but on ground, the reality was quite something else. That's the level of impunity.
Well, Padmaja, very important. Yesterday evening, the Indigo team had a meeting with the DGCA and the ministry where they decided to cancel 1,000 flights today. Yet they never informed anybody in the morning. There was no press release. The government should have sent out something. So passengers arrived at various airports. Today, Peter Albers gave a statement saying that we have planned these cancellations. Who is going to be responsible? Talking about passengers at airports, I want to narrate a personal story. My family was traveling from Bangalore to Pune yesterday. They couldn't land in Pune. They circled for an hour, eventually diverted to Bombay because of lack of fuel, landed in Mumbai, waited for 4 hours on the aircraft, finally managed to get off. And they took a cab and came. They said, forget the refund, forget everything else. Let's just take a taxi. It's the safest thing. We don't even know when we'll get back to Pune. This is the situation. Cab fares, now we're talking about extortion by airlines and hiking of fares. Cab fares have gone up from 3,000 on a Bombay-Pune to 7,000 rupees. Because of this, even local fares from the airport in Mumbai yesterday were double and triple. So there's another aspect that Indigo has affected everybody, not only the passengers, but it's destroyed our economy. Thousands of crores of loss. Who is going to bear that loss?
And the predatory pricing that we saw all through today, where a trip which would have ordinarily cost you about 15 to 20,000 was going as high as 60,000. A round trip to Chennai for 60,000. Can you imagine? It was cheaper to fly to Sri Lanka, to fly to Bangkok, than to actually make a trip to Raigad or to Raipur. That's how ridiculous things got. Subodh Pal, a viewer of ours, joins us from Bhubaneswar. Sir, did you have a personal experience? Go on, Mr. Pal.
Yeah, ma'am. I came from Mangalore to Bhubaneswar via Bangalore on 3rd of December. In Mangalore, my flight was delayed for 3 to 4 hours. And when we came to Bangalore, it was delayed for indefinite period. Then I requested them because I have with my small daughter. She was coming from her college. Then after lots of request and query, they adjusted me in one flight, which was coming after 8 hours late. But till now, after 72 hours also, I am not getting my luggage.
Oh, damn. No luggage even now.
Yeah, okay. 2 luggage bags. That was my daughter's baggage. Every clothes and everything was with that bag.
Well,
and
sir,
I'm trying
a lot of people would be watching you and saying, at least you got back home. That's how bad things were, that people are literally counting their blessings in whatever little relief that they got. I want to quickly get in a word from Mr. Venkatesh, another viewer calling in now, sir. What was your experience like?
Hi. This is really terrible. I think the one important thing that I wanted to highlight here is that the Indigo has an extreme apathy. So what's the biggest giveaway is that they do not, on their website, on their social media channel, there is zero updates. You would not know which flight is on, which flight is cancelled. It just simply shows that they are taking passengers for a ride. So this is just unbelievably, I would say, apathy. And this is because that they do know for sure that they don't have to pay anything for it, right? They can say anything, whatever they want to say.
Publicly, they are saying, we are disseminating information, we are out there for you, we have earned your trust, we value your trust. The reality, Dilip Cherian, was very different. Another very important thing that a viewer called in and told us, there were multiple flights which were cancelled yesterday, and they were still taking bookings. They were taking fresh bookings, knowing that they don't have the wherewithal to actually fly those planes. My question to you is, 15 days from now, this report will come. What kind of action can be taken against them? Or will it just be a rap on the knuckles?
Padmaja, you're talking to a potential victim. I would have been on one of those flights which was cancelled because I've had to miss a board meeting in Bombay because all flights were cancelled, and I did not want to take the risk of actually getting to an airport and trying to figure out what to do next. Should an airline be held accountable? They should. Should the board be held accountable? They should. The fact is that you had a situation which you ought to have planned for. Government certainly should not have watered down regulations for one airline. They should actually hold them accountable. There is no need for any inquiry on this. The fact is very simple, it's obvious, it's visible to everybody. Did you hire the pilots necessary? Did you make sure that the rosters were planned? You had 2 years, did you do that? Did other airlines do that? There is proof that other airlines have been able to do that. And when you are an airline which has 70% of market share, which has been allowed because you have artificially created a virtual duopoly with one small airline, Akasa, trying to make up for some of the space. But the fact is that this is not how a country which is experiencing 15% growth year on year should be working its industry. This is proof that once again, we have to watch out for other industries where similar duopolies exist. So at the moment, this passenger turmoil should teach us lessons about how business and economies are run, and certainly companies should recognize that they will not just be penalized, but they will be de-licensed if this kind of action happens from them without any real provocation from the outside.
Absolutely. And I will bring in our viewers Ravi and Mr. Sehgal in just a second, but I'm genuinely curious, Sanjay Lazar, because when this time has been given for them to make amends, what exactly are they going to do to make up for the shortfall of their commanders? Through the day we've been talking about how they're short of about 750 commanders. In the next 15 days they are going to recruit 750 pilots?
No, as per the DGCA stats that Indigo has provided, let's go by their figures. They say there are 65 commanders, 65 first officers short. My point is, even if you started today, it would take you 95 to 150 days to train a first officer into a commander to get him through the training, leave alone the checks. So he's obviously not going to come on board. The other interesting thing is, on the day this broke out, 2 other airlines were having walk-in interviews for pilots, and Indigo had stopped recruitment 6 months ago. They had frozen pilot hiring. Now, what does that tell you? Either they thought that I'm kicking this ball further and this is going to get extended. The DGCA is not going to bring in part 2 and we are all going to make a hue and cry, or they just, were incompetent to calculate this.
Sorry, sir, but it seems to me like they are pulling the wool over our collective eyes, where they basically thought we are going to create a pressure cooker situation. Things will get really bad. The government will be in a state of panic, and ultimately we will get our way. Essentially, to put it very crudely, they have arm twisted us as a country and as a government, and they have got their way. And this is just one airline which we are expected to give our money to and expect that we will stay safe. Like Mr. Gurjeet Singh, who is calling us stranded at the Bengaluru airport. How long have you been there, sir? This mess started in the morning. Don't tell me that you've just been there for the last 12 hours.
Ma'am, for the last 3 days, I've been stuck up in Bangalore only. Finally, I'm flying out of Bangalore tomorrow to Chandigarh, my hometown, for 24,000 rupees a ticket. But my question now remains to that. I have been seeing all.
No, wait a second. Indigo has said that they are going to give you full refund, etc. Have they given you refund? Did they give you a hotel room?
I'm staying in a hotel. No, nothing is that. There's a chaos there. It's just like a bus stop or a railway station crowd over there now.
They didn't give you a hotel?
No, not at all, ma'am. They're not listening at all.
They didn't refund your money?
The refund will come at the later stage. I'm not interested in the refund. I wanted to go out of the city.
That's ridiculous. What was the communication like? Was there anyone giving you information talking about when you'll get the next flight, etc.? Or do you have to book your tickets on your own?
You just wait on you could just come back after some time, you come back. But I have to divert you on to a different, because I've been seeing a lot of debates in the TV since last 2 days. Everybody's talking about the chaos which Indigo is creating, or government should take up an action. But the real cause, I feel that there is a unrest between the promoters of the company. No channel is talking about the promoters of the company. Mr. Rahul Bhatia and Mr. Gangwal. I have seen in the media, Gangwal has reduced his equity to just 4% of the shareholding from one of the majority. Is there anything happening in between the promoters? Why we are not calling the promoters on the TV or getting a statement from them? Government should definitely go and look into the matter. Like what you remember a couple of years back when Jet Airways went into trouble. There was basically the promoter who was doing some hanky-panky thing. So is this similar thing happening with these two promoters?
That's a very good point that you've raised. I think Dilip Cherian wants to respond to that. And he has been bringing up the board again and again. Dilip Cherian.
The reason I brought up the board is because in board management companies, it is very important that as far as promoters are concerned, there should be clarity. If there is anything of this kind, it needs to be brought to the attention of the government, and government need not have to wait for them to tell them. They should, because that is what the job of the regulator is. Don't forget that aviation is one of the most highly regulated industries in the country, as it should be. Now, it is the job of the regulator, as it is the job of the board, to make sure that communications on these issues, especially if there is conflict at that level, it is bound to affect operations. If it is that you as a company are trying to push your revenues or your profits up, that is bound to affect the performance of the company. So you cannot just invest in expanding business. You have to invest as much in creating the commanders from the first officers and adding to your teams, because otherwise this chaos is the end result of a defiant duopoly.
There are 3 things which are crystal clear from what has happened, not just today, but it has just been escalating over the last few months and especially this week gone by. 1, that Indigo precipitated this crisis. They knew exactly what was going to happen. This was not a bolt from the blue. 2, the DGCA knew. Today, when they are ordering an inquiry, they said we had a meeting in November where we got to know that Indigo is not doing what they are supposed to. Why wasn't an action taken at that time? And 3, if there is an inquiry where a report is going to come in 15 days, it shouldn't just end, with Kari Ninda. There should be actual action so that others are not emboldened. Today, these rules have been rolled back for everyone, all the airlines. Who suffers? Whose lives are at stake? Ours. Please remember that and seek accountability. Both gentlemen, thank you very much for having joined us on the show. When it concerns our safety, our collective safety, when we are paying good money, the buck definitely stops here. Thanks for watching.